Good day and welcome to the City Point podcast review of the fourth day of the final test at the Gabba between Australia and India. With me tonight is Wickets and Pickets boss Declan Hooper. And Declan, it's been another wonderful day. Unfortunately, spoiled at the end by the rain, but it's Brisbane in January, so go figure.
Yeah, mate. It's we were sitting there at the Gabba today, and it was like it seemed that the whole of southeast Queensland was getting rained on, except the Gabba. At one point, it was kind of like it was really the calm before the storm, wasn't it? It was like we were expecting
quite literally
it to rain. Yeah, quite literally. We were expecting it to rain. Wasn't raining. Everyone was, there's chatter in the press box about, declarations and when the rain's meant to be coming and all this kind of thing. And then, we waited, and about 4:30, the heavens opened up.
Yeah. We're talking about what we would have done as journalists, as captain. Imagine what it's like for somebody like Tim Payne, who's having to weigh up the weather, whether he's got enough runs, whether he can bowl the Indians out in time. It's a tough decision for a captain. It's all very well the likes of Shane Warne and Mark Waugh and us saying, oh, you got to declare, you've got enough runs already. But for Tim Payne, who's been under pressure from a lot of quarters over the last couple of weeks for different kind of reasons, he wouldn't want to be the guy who becomes the first Australian captain to lose at the Gabba since 1988, having taken a chance that the weather's going to come in and they're going to get less time to bowl the Indians out and declare at 260, and then it doesn't rain and they only need 260 and they knock them off with one wicket down. It's a really tough decision for him, isn't it?
Yeah, I do think, because it is Tim Payne, I think he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. I'm just thinking back to some of these great Australian captains, and you think if Michael Clarke acted in the same way, I don't think the same criticism would be levelled. Personally, I do think he probably should have declared earlier, looking at the weather. But as you said, we're not in his shoes to make that call, and that it is a risk. There's no doubting that he's taking a punt on the weather being fine tomorrow. What I will say, though, is just in general, this test match, I do question Tim Payne's aggressiveness, whether it be with the declaration, the field placements, even some of his bowling changes as well. As a captain, it's like he's trying to shut the back door before chasing the win, which, is not the worst idea in the world. But I do think at some points during this test match, he probably could have been a bit more aggressive.
I was looking at that this afternoon when Ajinkya Rahane, who he's obviously learnt his captaincy trade from Virat Kohli, he still kept attacking when he probably could have easily put the field back and allow Australia to dictate the day, but he kept the slips in, he kept attacking, and he got his just rewards. 328 to win in 98 overs or just over 98 overs is not beyond the realms if you've got Rohit Sharma and Rishabh Pant and Cheteshwar Pujara and himself in a side that's already threatened to win a test match in Sydney and managed to last all day and only lose 5 wickets. So I can understand where Tim Payne was being a little bit conservative, but I think I'm with you. I think I would have gone a bit more attacking in all forms during the Indian innings for a start. His tactics against the two new guys was really weird when they kept bowling short stuff to guys who were just basically dead bad in that sort of stuff and only attacking the ones that were pitched up. If they pitched it up a bit more, they would have got the shots, then playing a bit more shots, I think, personally.
Yeah, I do think the other thing with the declaration, I think it wasn't, looking back in hindsight, it wasn't in the best interest of Australia to come back out after tea and bat. Ultimately, I think what did they finish at tea at was, I think they were 280 in front or thereabouts. They now finish, I think it's 350 rather in front. I think if India are going to make 350, they're going to make 280. I don't think that is such a big jump for them. I think if they are going to bat all day tomorrow, I think when talking about the carrot, I think the carrot's still the same. So I think in a lot of ways, Australia just kind of wasted precious time, if nothing else, sending the tail in to smack the ball around a bit.
It's not necessarily all going Australia's way, and this Test series deserves to go to the last day, deserves to have some more twists and turns because India deserve to have a chance of getting something out of this series because they've been absolutely amazing. Considering everything that's happened to them, Mohammad Siraj, who got 5 wickets in the Australian innings today, his father died last week. He could have easily gone home and help his family mourn his father's death, but he's stayed. They also mourning the death of Hardik Pandya's father as well. They've had all the injuries that we've mentioned before. Virat Kohli's gone home to be with his wife and his new child. So they deserve to take this Test match to a final day, and they deserve a chance to possibly get an unlikely victory. I mean, we know that the highest run chase at the Gabba is 236, the highest successful run chase. But, I mean, who knows in this series? It's been a remarkable bloody series so far. I mean, I'm sure there's some more twists and turns tomorrow if we can get out there because of the weather.
I do think, and in the wash, I do think that especially the bowling today will probably kind of be somewhat overlooked. But I do think India were good. Their bowling attack was good today, and their field placement was really, really good from Rahane. They pretty well got it spot on because Australia were trying to score quickly and you had a Steve Smith and Marnus Labuschagne both in form, and they both were. I mean, Steve Smith got a 50, but he didn't kick on with it. And a lot of the Australian batsmen scored runs quickly, but didn't kick on with it. So I do think, I mean, Mohammad Siraj getting his 5 wickets, Thacker on debut getting 4 for. It's I do think that will probably get overlooked by the rain and whatever else, and ultimately the final result. But I do think that they deserve a lot of credit, not only for what they did yesterday with the bat, but also with the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Rahane deserves a lot of credit for his captaincy too. I mean, he could have easily sort of like taken the easy option and set defensive fields and allowed Australia to dictate the pace. I mean, there were times when Warner and Harris were going well this morning when they put on the 89 for the first wicket. I'm sure Rahane was thinking, oh no, we could be chasing 450 and we might be batting by mid-afternoon. But he stuck to his guns. He got 4 quick wickets, including Matthew Wade, who again failed when the pressure was on. So you got to give him credit, Rahane. I mean, he's obviously the captain in waiting when Virat Kohli hangs up his boots, but obviously while Kohli's there, he's a brilliant deputy for him to have because his mind is He's obviously switched on. There was times when you could see him talking to the umpires, and I'm pretty sure when they were offering him the chance to go off, he said, "No, I want to stay out here. We want a chance of winning this Test match."
Also, looking back on the day, obviously Matthew Wade gets a third ball duck. 18 innings he's now gone without scoring a 50 in Test cricket. Are the knives out for him?
Possibly. I mean, obviously, Travis Head would be looking at it and thinking, what's he done that I haven't done? Because he's more or less done the same thing himself. He hasn't. I mean, he was obviously made the scapegoat at the top of the order when David Warner was injured. So, but they could have easily chosen Marcus Harris, who is an opener, to do that job. Why they chose Matthew Wade, I don't know. And Marcus Harris was sitting there. So, I think he is under pressure. But I also think that Justin Langer and the Australian selectors don't know what their top 6 should be. They're still struggling to find, other than Steve Smith and Marnus Labuschagne, who obviously sit in 3 and 4, without question. Yeah, for the rest of the top 6, they don't. Nobody stood out and said, "I've had a great series. Pick me, pick me, pick me." For the South African Test series coming up. So, yeah, there is a lot of pressure on a lot of players, I think. And Australia's batting order is not as good as people might think it is, other than Smith and Labuschagne. And if they start to have a lean spell, which they will do at some point, then you could be looking at some pretty low totals, which they had already when Steve Smith wasn't getting runs in the early part of this series, and Labuschagne didn't chip in. They bowled out for 195 at the MCG in the second test, and they lost that test. So, if Smith doesn't get runs, if Labuschagne doesn't get runs, then who is going to get runs? It's all very well getting a quick 20 and 30, but somebody needs to sit in there and get a big 100, and that's not happening at the moment. I can't remember the last person who's had, other than Steve Smith or Labuschagne, who's had a decent score for Australia. I can't remember. I really can't.
Well, probably Joe Burns, who got that 50 and then got bombed out a test later. Just a quick note that we saw today. Early contender for the worst DRS call of the year. And also, I mean, should it have started? He got to about 20 seconds before he called for it. David
Warner, you're talking about.
yeah, David Warner. He was back at his seat in the dressing room before he decided to call for DRS.
Apparently, Marnus Labuschagne was the one that tipped his wink and said to him, "Mate, you should have a review of that." But the fact that he was like halfway to the pavilion already, and he'd run out of 15 seconds on the review clock, so on the TV, he shouldn't have been allowed to review. And I'm glad that it was banging into off stump. I'm sure Shane Watson was looking on from afar saying, "Ah, ha, ha, ha. I told you, It's not just me that does these stupid things." There was one yesterday, I think it was in the Indian innings, when Matthew Wade convinced Tim Payne to review a catch behind when he didn't even think, So I think the time has come for the DRS maybe to go into the hands of the umpires and make them, do the reviews, not the players, because the idea of a DRS was to rule out the howlers. Obviously, that wasn't a howler today, and the one yesterday wasn't a howler.
It is a fine line, and I think you see more and more teams using it as a tactic. I do question the 3 I mean, I get that it's homegrown umpires due to COVID times and that kind of thing, hence the extra DRS call. But you seem to have more and more teams now having a committee meeting before calling the DRS. Really, if it's clear and obvious, you don't need a committee meeting to go, yep, it's out, or oh, we're not sure, we'll give it a look just in case. We've got a review, or we've got a couple of reviews left. Let's use a review.
We're looking ahead for hopefully a rain-free day at the Gabba tomorrow. Let's hope the Queensland weather can hold off just for a few hours, so we can get a a fitting finale to what's been an amazing Test series. I think India deserved that. I think the crowd's TV audience deserves that. And those who turn up to the Gabba, I don't think it'll be very many tomorrow, unfortunately, because of the weather. But hopefully we can get at least some cricket tomorrow, live cricket, and India can give it a go. I mean, Rohit Sharma at the top, capable. Rishabh Pant in the middle orders, capable. They got the two new guys who put on the show the other day. Let's hope for a great day's cricket. We've had 4 days of it so far. One more day. Please, God. Please, God. No more rain.
Yeah. We need Cyclone Kimmy to stay well away from the Gabba.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be there again tomorrow. So we'll see you there. Hopefully there's some cricket on and we can have a chat about it tomorrow.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
Well
Take
done.
care, mate.